And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wrestle Purist Raw Review. I'm your host, Ibu of Wrestle Purist, better known to many of you guys as Backup Hangman on Twitter. And I'm joined by Rob of Orlando. Guys, sorry for last week's absence. We couldn't put together a show. Plus, there also just wasn't much to talk about on last week's Raw. The show, frankly,
Last
just
week,
wasn't.
aka last week's Raw was bad.
Now, here's the deal. I don't mind reviewing a show that was bad, but there just wasn't much news coming out of it. So that plus the fact that I was busy was just like, all right, well then let me just take a week off. We'll try not to take too many weeks off though. And again, I don't want to make this a thing where it's like we only review the Raws that are like all right and above. But yeah, it just happened to be one of those things where there just wasn't much that happened. So and nevertheless, since last week's Raw, we have more conclusive results. In terms of we have a better picture, a better idea of what's happening at WrestleMania, and so with that, we had a pretty eventful show last night, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it on this WrestleMania Raw review. Right up front, I'll tell you this: I like the show, and there's a couple things in motion right now that I that give me some theories as to where things are going for Mania. So we're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna talk about a big time segment with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And we'll get into all the night's action and the news coming out of the show. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And without further ado, Rob, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Today was Mardi Gras, but I wasn't feeling well today. So, and plus some came up at the last minute. So I decided to cancel my plans and do the Raw review. Feed the viewers. Also, I didn't want to go on a streak of being, like you said, inconsistent and not really. We are a very consistent show around here at the Raw review, and so last night's Raw was good though. I really liked last night's Monday Night Raw, and I'm really excited to get into some of the things that we need to talk about. Can't wait to talk about Seth Rollins. Can't wait for that part. So
Listen, listen. You know I'm not the biggest Seth guy, right? But he was pretty great last night. That was one of the defining moments of his entire career, I thought. And I don't know about you, Rob. I'm a big fan of movies and TV shows and comic
mhm.
books and pop culture, all that type of stuff. The setup that we have going into Mania feels like the big climactic battle of a fucking blockbuster movie. And I'll get into why I feel that way when we talk about the big segment, because that was the big segment.
Yes,
But yeah, man, Seth Rollins, I thought he really, really, really uh, made a good account of himself yesterday, which is good because he had not the week prior when he allowed himself to get absolutely bitched and emasculated by the Samoans. But nevertheless, guys, again, make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. We'll go through some of your super chats as they pile up before we get into the Raw review. Um, and yeah, let's. Do we have any right now, Rob, or
we
what? What's
have
up?
two super chats from Kimberly right now. Please, like Ibu said, guys, remember to please like, subscribe, and super chat.
Mm-hmm.
There's over 100 people in here. Let's get 50 likes. Let's get these likes up so we can get the show around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kimberly, 199, send us a heart.
Thank you,
Kimberly,
Kim.
another 199. Ooh, ah.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that one. I don't know about that
Yeah.
one. I don't know about
Yeah.
that one.
That's
No
it
more
for now.
ooh-ahs. It's gonna be no more ooh-ahs after WrestleMania. Thank God. No more ooh-ahs.
Yo, I can't. Yo, I'm telling you, bro, something feels off. I'm telling you, man, something feels off. Triple
The way
H,
they're setting.
Triple H is a fucking Triple H is. There's no more super chats for now. Triple H is a the story's not finished yet, merchant.
He is. He has a. Here's the problem with Paul Levesque. Funny enough, he hesitates to really take the big swing and pull the big trigger to end the story. He loves setting things up and keeping it going, and he knows how to do maintenance booking. Maintenance booking, for those who don't know, is just essentially once the status quo is set up, he knows how to just kind of do little nuggets here and there to kind of keep it furthered at least slightly on a week to week basis while never having to fully deliver on the big payoffs. He can do that. He knows how to fucking do a fucking backstage Easter egg. He loves doing that. He loves having little verbal lines that reference things. But when it comes to actually taking that big swing and finally just sticking the landing, he really hesitates to stick landings.
Fucking
And there's a
Johnny,
lot of wrestlers. There's a lot of
fucking
wrestlers right now that have stories to finish. So
basically like fucking Johnny and Champa becoming not NXT Tag Team Champions, but basically NXT Tag Team Champions. after they've been trying to kill each other for a year?
I don't even know if it's that. I just think on the main roster, like, why does everybody's fucking big moment has to be? Why does everybody's big moment have to be prolonged? Whether it be Chad Gable or whoever it is. Listen, he has the chance to fight back on that label at WrestleMania. Because I mean, if we walk out of WrestleMania, like hypothetically, I'm gonna say massive hypothetical, but hypothetically, we walk out of Mania and Bayley's a champion, Cody's a champion, Sami Zayn is a champion, maybe Chad Gable's a champion, then he has officially, done what he needed to do. But I struggle to see a reality where every single one of those things happen. But even though I hope for it, but we'll see, we'll see. Uh, Guys,
Well,
again,
the high chief has other plans, so
well, how about fuck the high chief? How about that?
oh,
Listen, we have an announcement to make today, guys. I'll make it a little bit later in the stream when we get more
yes.
people in here. But we do have a pretty fun little announcement for you guys regarding the future of the Wrestle Pierce Raw review, which will continue to exist and continue to be delivered to you guys at this time on Tuesdays. But we might be gaining somebody. So we'll make an announcement regarding that a little bit later in the stream. Again, guys, make sure to like the video, comment, send super chats. Give us your thoughts on last night's Raw. Maybe some of your big high points, your highlights, your perspectives. Like I said, I thought the show was a good one. And you know what? Let's just get right into it. So the show starts up, Rob.
Oh
And
no, there's another wait. There's one more before we start. One more that just came in.
okay.
Hush 199. They going to fill in that logic gap in the story? What logic gap?
Hush is talking about the logic gap that Cody Rhodes was okay with giving his match to The Rock at
Oh.
SmackDown. And then at the press conference, he no longer wanted to, and he thought the whole situation was bullshit.
Oh, that's very easy. That's a very easy logic gap to fill in.
They
Basically,
they should address it on TV though.
yeah, like they need to address it on TV. But what I've seen a lot of people saying is basically like Cody basically changed his mind when Dwayne said, "Yeah, there's more than one royal family. Like there's only one royal family." And you know that's at the beginning of Cody's theme, so you know that made him be like, "Yo, yo, yo, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?" So, yeah.
It's implied and it can be inferred that Cody basically changed his mind when Rock started acting like a dick. But I still like him to say that though, because otherwise he just looks like like a contradictory character. So I would like him to because in canon and in kayfabe, we're supposed to believe that he had a conversation with Rock, and after this conversation, he decided to give his match to Rock because quote he wanted to take everything from Roman Reigns. Then the press conference happens and he thinks this is bullshit. And he says, yo, I earned the right to fight him at Mania because I won the Rumble, which is true. That's all correct. And then, now we're in this mode where him and Seth are like, fuck Dwayne, which, I mean, I like this pivot for the record. I think this is a better pivot than the original direction. But like Hush said, and I think like many people say, Cody should probably, like, Michael Cole or somebody should ask him, like, Cody, it must be asked. Initially, when this whole thing started, you seemed like you were working in conjunction with Dwayne Johnson. What happened? And you just make some type of explanation up. It really doesn't have to be that elaborate. Just say something.
Like, look, Mr. Big Dude just said what Rob said. It became clear Rock came in to wrestle Roman for the glory of the family instead of actually beating Roman Reigns.
Sure, you again,
Yeah, because it makes a lot of sense because when he comes in, he's not talking about stopping Roman Reigns. He's not talking about stopping this whole reign of terror that Roman's basically been on. He's basically like, yeah, look at our family. Look at what we've done. Look at the
yeah,
lineage. That's why this is the main event.
sure. So Raw opened up, guys, and we had a 6-person tag to start the show. We went straight to action. We opened the show. We got a video package recapping the big press conference, the big explosive press conference from last Thursday. And following that, we went right to entrances and got right to the match. So no long opening promo this week. We went right to action. Second straight week, Rob. The first week was last week when they did the big multi-person tag, and now this week they're doing Imperium versus New Day and Jey Uso. Jey Uso has been associated with the New Day for a while now, and they're allies, they're baby faces, and so they took on Imperium here. And this was a 3-segment hot opening trios match. Rob, they went back and forth. There was a lot of heat. The New Day are doing their tandem offense. Jey Uso's doing his thing. He's getting really big cheers. He's doing the yeet punches. Gunther's trying to avoid having direct interactions with Jey Uso. Um, he only comes in for double teams. They eventually got to grab Jey Uso, and he was chopping. Gunther was chopping him, and he was ripping his shirt off and all that type of stuff. So they're going back and forth. And again, like I said, it's a 3-segment match. And the last segment, in the final stretch of the match, is when Jey Uso finally gets to have at it. So he has a big hot tag. And in this hot tag, he's really giving it to Kaiser and Vinci. And he finally calls Gunther in the ring, and he's getting the better of Gunther a little bit. He's punching him up. He's dodging his chops. Gunther tried to attempt a rainmaker, and he didn't land it. But Jey Uso hit him with a spear, and the pin was broken up. And ultimately, we kind of get towards the later stretches of the match, and Gunther's on the outside. And again, he's still trying to avoid wrestling Jay directly. The New Day do like the stereo, Woods did like a middle rope diving drop kick to the outside. Kofi Kingston does a tope, and Jey Uso won the match on Giovanni Vinci with a Uso splash. And so I'll just skip ahead and say right now. Following this victory is when it's made official that Jey Uso will be challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship on next week's Raw. So that match will not be happening at Elimination Chamber. Gunther cannot travel to Perth, Australia, and so that's why they're doing that match on TV. So that's to be expected. But yeah, Rob, Jey Uso, new #1 contender for the IC title, happening next week on TV. 6-man tag. What did you think?
I really like this 6-man tag match. I liked the dynamic of Gunther. I don't know if it was Gunther. I wouldn't call it Gunther being afraid of Jay. I would call it Gunther in Gunther's whole character and the way that he is and the way that he presents himself. I just don't think I think he was presenting himself as like, I don't even think you're good enough to like wrestle me. I don't think you're good enough to fight me. Or I don't think you're worthy of basically fighting me in this ring right now. Basically.
Yeah,
So
there's a real smug approach to it.
yeah. And so like I'm very excited to see how this match goes next week. I like the progression in the New Day and the rest of Imperium storyline. I'm really excited to see what they do to finish that off. Whether they do a plunder match to finish that off, whether they do like a big tag team 2 out of 3 falls type of thing to finish that off. Whatever they do, I'm really excited to see how they finish that. And I'm interested to see how this Jay and Gunther match is gonna go because we've never really seen Jay Uso. Like we saw it against Seth Rollins. We've never
Mm.
really seen like Jay against a guy of Gunther's level. So I'm very interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, I thought Jay did surprisingly well against Seth Rollins. I thought that match on Raw was one of Jay's best matches ever, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
And Gunther's a better wrestler than Seth, so I hope the styles match. But yeah, that match looks to be very good. I wonder how they do the finish. A lot of people have been predicting, Rob, that maybe Jimmy Uso gets involved, and that's what sets up their Mania match. Uh, Either way, I don't think Gunther's losing the championship here. I'd hope he doesn't, because I think if he has the belt, you can set up something really cool with him at WrestleMania. And it's still not super clear who's his Mania match, but there's a whole host of guys that it could be. So yeah, I thought this was good too. What I would say about this match, more so about just like on a broad level, is just the fact that um, I think it's good to just not always do the opening long promo on Raw,
Yeah.
and their tag division right now is really, really talented and really exciting. I think they provide some of the best in-ring action on the WWE programming. And so, as a result, I honestly think they should pull a 2020 AEW here, in that you just open most of your TVs with hot multi-man action. It always going to
Yeah.
get over. The wrestling is always very fun and exciting. You just do these big party matches. And so that's what they did last week. That's what they did this week. And it's worked 2 weeks in a row. And so they have enough talent to just keep cycling in different wrestlers in that spot doing the same thing. So, yeah, I thought this was a positive piece of business.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, and the thing is just like we can have the promos sometimes, but it doesn't need to be an every week thing. That's basically what kind of killed Raw in a sense for a long time, was like Triple H coming out every week and cutting a 20-minute promo. And so now you just have guys wrestling at the beginning of the show. You have stars wrestling at the beginning of the show, so that way somebody tunes in, they'll stay. So,
for sure.
yeah.
For sure. So that was good. Coming out of this, Rob, they Bobby Lashley was making his entrance to do his match, and he was getting ready to have his chamber qualifier against Bronson Reed. These chamber qualifiers are interbrand matches because, as Triple H said on SmackDown, WWE management right now is the united front, and essentially they're going to give everybody an opportunity to challenge for Seth Rollins' belt. Yeah, so they're setting up the Bobby Lashley match with Bronson Reed. He's coming out, but when we come back from commercial, Rob, they aired a video package. I hope you have a picture for this. I
Oh
hope
my
you have.
god. Oh my god.
Yo,
Oh my god.
they had a
This
video
fucking
package.
video package.
You get the tan
Yo.
filter, so you know it's Mexican because that's what they have to do. And
Oh my god.
it's Andrade El Idolo, folks. He's resurfaced. It's funny because all weekend there was some Andrade discourse starting up where it was like, "Where's Andrade? He can't even be in the Chamber qualifiers." But I wasn't tripping because it wasn't a case of he's on the show and he's being treated like he's a fucking jabroni and he's losing. They just haven't gotten going yet with whatever it is they're going to do with him. But I was very certain that what they were going to do is just the slow debut rollout, which is what most that's what WWE does, and even AEW's done that sometimes with some of their big new signings. Is they get a guy, they give him that big debut, and then they kind of pull back and then do the slow rollout. And I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'd rather them have a full, clear direction for what he's going to do. And he has this video package, and fuck me, this shit was good. It wasn't even that long, but he basically just kind of explained his history, Rob. He was talking about how he's been
Yeah.
wrestling since he was 13. We saw the La Sombra mask. And he was talking about how he's wrestled it since he was 13. He made it to the WWE. He explained that like in WWE, he won the NXT championship. He even won the United States championship on the main roster. But ultimately, those championships weren't enough, and that he lost himself, and that he had to leave WWE to remember who he was. And so that's how he's framing his departure to AEW. It's basically a journey of self-rediscovery. And funny enough, Rob, people were commenting on this line like, "Oh my, what are you talking about? You got fired." And that's a common misconception. Rob. Andrade was not
Yes.
fired by
He was
WWE.
not fired. He was not fired.
He was adamantly requesting his release for a couple months, and finally got it granted in like I want to say
Guys,
February 2021.
if
That
you don't remember, the reason why Charlotte was not at WrestleMania 37 was
she was holding out.
because of Andrade.
She was holding out. She was holding out.
Yes.
She was holding out so that he got what he wanted, and ultimately it was granted to him. So
Basically
yeah,
said, if you don't let my husband go, I'm not coming back at all.
right. And so he got his release, and yeah, in this vignette he said like I left to find myself, to remember who I was, and he said now that I'm back, I remember who I am, and he basically said like the direction is clear and I know what I want. So
Yo, look
clearly
at this
Andrade has
fucking
something in
look
mind.
at this. Look at
Oh,
this.
bro, the production on this was slick, bro. This shit was movie level. So yeah, Andrade's looking like a fucking sauce god. He's claiming that he knows what he wants. We as fans do not know what that entails at this point. So who knows? All I do know is that between Gunther and Seth Rollins, there's two championships there that he could target, and I don't know, man. You could walk this guy out and he could challenge any one of those dudes, and
He
I'm
said, I remember who I was. I am a real Latino man.
yeah. He said I'm a real Latino man. That was fire. Yeah, I thought this video package was great. So I've always been a fan of Andrade. I'm very consistent on this, folks. When a lot of people turned on him when he was in AEW, I maintain that yes, while he is a bit mercurial, while he is a bit kind of an oddball, he's an immensely talented pro wrestler. I think he's fucking great, and I think his last few months on AEW Collision proved that he's just a great wrestler. And so he's back in WWE here, and hopefully for him. They get it right this time, and if they don't, then that's a big blunder on their part, because again, like I said, Andrade is immensely talented, so hopefully this goes well. Following this, Rob, we got the Bronson Reed Bobby Lashley match, and I don't know about you, Rob, I thought this like kind of ruled.
Oh yeah.
The crowd loves Bobby Lashley, right? So they always get into Bobby, but now he has a big guy to just throw around and slam. And so this match is essentially just Bobby in a 2-segment match, just doing a bunch of like throws and like suplexes and power moves. He even like he throws him off the top rope. And so yeah, he sold a bit for Bronson Reed, but he got his big comeback. And again, he's doing vertical suplexes, he's throwing him around, he's dodging and shit. And the crowd just got into it because it's just cool to see this big fucking strong motherfucker doing these explosive and high impact moves. So from that respect, I got into it, and Bobby ultimately won. I kind of was surprised by that. Part of me felt like, okay, they're gonna do some gimmicky Final Testament interference finish or something like that, but they didn't. Bobby Lashley just straight up beat this dude. So unfortunate for Bronson Reed because he won't be able to, at least as it stands now, he will not be able to make it to the card of his home show. But yeah, Bobby got a big win, and he's going to be in the chamber. What did you think of this, Rob?
Yeah, I really like this match. I liked it just as much as you did. Like, I like babyface Bobby Lashley. Like,
Yes,
as much as I like 2021 heel Bobby Lashley, because babyface Lashley basically does like the Raquel Gonzalez like Nia Jax type of match where it's like where it's like, oh, it's a build up to picking this guy up and throwing him. And so
correct,
it's basically just like Bobby and Bronson Reed basically throwing an equal amount of moves at each other to seeing who can really land their move and see who beats them first. It was very confusing to me that Bronson Reed lost this match, and like you said, I thought that we were gonna get some type of cross like Final Testament thing, but we really didn't. He just straight up beat him, and so it's very interesting to me why he's not going, or if he even makes it there.
yeah. I guess that remains to be seen, but yeah, this chamber's up to this point, folks. We have Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, all in the chamber match. So some heavy hitters there. Some heavy hitters there. A couple guys that like I'm not really sure what they're gonna do at WrestleMania, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
Like, what the
hopefully,
fuck are Bobby Lashley and the Street
yeah,
Profits and the Final Testament gonna do at WrestleMania?
I really there's no way they stretch that to Mania. Like, do they really actually make here's because like you could make that like a multi-person plunder match, but that felt like something they were gonna just blow off on TV. But maybe not. Maybe that is a
Well,
thing.
brother, you don't know Triple H, brother.
He
He's if he wants to stretch that bitch, he's gonna stretch that bitch. Pause.
and he yeah pause, but and he also is a very slow-paced storyteller. So um, I guess so. I
Yeah,
guess
that
so.
was crazy.
Um,
Um,
yeah, man. Yeah, good stuff. We're gonna take a quick break, Rob, because I'm like I can't lie to you guys. I'm eating my breakfast right now. While we're doing this, Rob, let's go through some of the next couple super chats that are built up.
all right. Jay Stone, 499. Sup, fellas? If not Gable, why not Andrade to beat Gunther at Mania? Because it's basically been built since after the match that they had. And what month was that? November or October? No, it
Some,
had to be like September, right?
I don't know, bro. It was in the
It
fall.
was like September in the fall. Ever since that match they had in the fall, in the post match interview that he had in the trainer's room, he literally said, he said, yeah, if it comes to a point where it's like my family and like the shoe stuff is fun and the thank yous and all that, but like when you're chopping me in front of my daughter and laughing at her crying like in front of me, that's when like it goes too far. And he said, I am not going to stop until I beat him for that championship. And I hope he holds that championship as long as possible so that I can be the one to take it from him. So,
Here's the thing,
as
Rob.
much as I'd love for Andrade to get his moment, it's Gable's moment.
So, Rob, that's why me and you would prefer it be Chad Gable. I think everybody would prefer it be Gable because their rivalry dictates that they have this match.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there aren't that many on-screen indications that we're going back to this anytime soon. I hope that changes, but right now there aren't that many indications. So I guess it remains to be seen. What I will say is that Gunther is so good that there's so many guys right now on the roster that I would love to see him wrestle. That I'm okay with all of them. If he faces Andrade at Mania, let's fucking go. If he faces Braun Breaker at Mania, I'm all for it. But again, the clubhouse leader, the wrestler I mainly want to see him go at it with is Chad Gable because of the story. So hopefully
Yeah.
that's the match we get. Hopefully. So yeah,
Chad Gable finally hitting the chaos theory and then Gunther kicking out and putting him in the ankle lock, grapevining it so that he can tap in front of 80,000, probably more than that people. That doesn't sound like crazy to y'all.
mm-hmm.
Hush 499. Seems like Truth is winning the title at WrestleMania. But can they at least not do with the Miz, do it with Cena or someone else and drop it at Backlash? No, it should be DIY. But hopefully it's Awesome Truth so that Evil can suffer a little bit. So
Yeah, I'm not addressing this because I value my mental health.
Oh yeah, I forgot because the last time you addressed this, someone jumped you at a show because you were a Miz fan. Well, not
You,
jumped you, but
because I wasn't a Miz fan.
oh yeah, because you're not a Miz fan. Yeah, they were like, "Yo, bro, what the fuck is up with you not liking the Miz, bro?" So
Yep.
yeah,
Is that what you got?
no, Hush 199 also Lee fitting the set so much better. Wait, also Lee fitting, thank you, the set much
Lee
better.
Fitting is the new guy that replaced Kevin Dunn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you
I didn't
noticed,
know who
Rob.
that is.
They toned down the colors and the lights on the LED barricades and the.
I noticed that. Like they're giving Raw kind of that NXT feel, like
Mhm,
NXT used to have.
mhm.
Because I was like, are they blacking everything out because people aren't there? But
No,
I
this is,
realized it was Triple H. Hush 199. How does Triple H feel about losing out on all the free agencies?
I don't know.
I don't
What
think
I
he
know is
cares.
he wanted Okada and he wanted Mercedes. So those are the two I know about. But how does he feel about losing out on them? I don't think he's tripping, to be honest with you, because the company is very financially well off, and the biggest movie star in all of Hollywood is going to be an active participant in their WrestleMania build and beyond.
He doesn't give a fuck.
So I think they're okay. But I mean, yeah, he wanted
And
a lot of the guys that he missed out on.
I don't agree with this, but I'm pretty sure he's like, I don't give a fuck about missing out on a card. I got The Rock wrestling. Like when he, like, and it sucks that he thinks that way, but it is what it is. So, yeah, there's all the super chats that we have for right now.
All right. Well, Rob, the next segment was basically Sami Zayn sitting down with Jackie Redmond and talking about the state of his career at the moment. And then eventually Nakamura made an interruption. Can you just explain that segment to the people?
Yeah. So basically, what happened was like it was kind of an odd like it was kind of an odd segment where Sami Zayn was in this like was giving this interview basically, and he was like, "Yeah, it sucks losing last week, but like I'm pretty sure I told you I'm not like this fucking shitter. I'm not a jobber. I am a contender." And so then all of a sudden Shinsuke Nakamura comes up on the Titantron, right? And then Shinsuke Nakamura, like I love the promo. Like you guys might think Shinsuke is shit, like right, but like I totally enjoyed this promo. He basically was like, "Yeah, you're talking about basically how you're basically sitting here saying, "Oh, you want all this sympathy. You're just like Cody Rhodes." And he's like, "You want all this sympathy, you want all this sympathy, but these people love you and stuff like that." And he's like, "You better be ready for our match tonight because if you're not ready for our match tonight," he has a fire fucking line that he drops here. He's like, "If you're not ready for our match tonight, then I will pick up your soul and I will continue my war path forward." So I really like that. I really like that.
So
Basically that segment.
the presentation of this at the beginning was grounded and down to earth, which is fitting because there's very few wrestlers more grounded and down to earth in WWE than Sami Zayn. And he's lamenting his recent status and his losses, and the fact that he'd vowed to win a championship, and he's not looking like he's on track to doing that. So I enjoyed that. But then like Nakamura on some fucking spooky lore House of Black type shit pops up on the screen to give his counter message to Sammy. And it kept cutting to Sammy looking at this, and Sammy looked so fucking confused. He was just like, "How did he do that?" So I don't know, whatever. But yeah, that was that. The next big thing was Cody Rhodes coming out. And folks, this is when business picked up. Because business fucking picked up. Cody Rhodes came out. He welcomed Lexington, Kentucky. He told him what he want to talk about. Get Nakamura off the fucking screen, Rob. I can't stand the sight of this when I'm talking about the American Nightmare. Cody Rhodes is talking about, Lexington, Kentucky, and he was thanking the fans. He told them that I would not be in this match and in this situation, Roman Reigns, if it wasn't for you guys.
Yes.
And he told them, he said, it's because of you guys getting a certain phrase trending. And he chanted, "We want Cody." And he thanked them. He said, "You guys make me emotional, but I don't want to cry because I'm not a crybaby." And that's when he turns his attention to The Rock, and he plays So he shows the audience what Rock was saying about him on the Pat McAfee show. And it was the Rock moment where Rock was talking about, Cody crybabies and chicken McNuggets up the ass and stuff like that. And so at this point, guys, there's
He's
this
so
heavy Rocky sucks chance. Huge Rocky sucks chance in a crowd of 10,000. And so Cody's firmly
this
the
didn't
babyface
happen.
in this situation. And Cody was saying, like, look, I know promos have changed a lot in 2024, but you were going to do what with the Nuggets? What's going on here? Like, what's happening with these Nuggets? And so Cody's basically kind of picking apart this, like, rudimentary and childlike Rock promo, which good for fucking Cody Rhodes. Good for Cody Rhodes. So he's just dismantling this thing. Right?
Well, he's gonna pay a hefty fine for this.
No fines necessary. Cody Rhodes is dissecting the promo and basically breaking down why it's stupid. And he said, look, man, I know all of us have at one point or another been fans of The Rock. At that point, the Kentuckians booed again, and they were like, Rocky sucks. Rocky sucks. So, they're
Heard a
chanting.
couple slurs.
No. The fine men and women of Kentucky are good people, Rob. Don't cast aspersions on their character, Rob. So again, he's just kind of shitting on The Rock here, and he's basically just explaining why he thinks Rock has just turned into like a selfish piece of shit. And at this point, Burn It Down plays, and Seth Rollins comes out, and he has a nice like tiger skin cheetah print thing he has going on. But Seth Rollins comes out, and they're singing his song. And Cody said, before we get started with whatever this is going to be, I want to say thank you for backing me up at the press conference. Nice moment there. The crowd claps. Seth Rollins told him, listen, Cody, no problem. Again, while I am disappointed that you won't wrestle me for my title, I understand why you're going for the other title. You have to finish your story. The fans cheer. It's a very understanding moment. And Seth Rollins essentially says, but you have to finish your story. He basically broke it down to Cody like this. Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. If Cody does not beat them, they will become stronger, because as the years roll by and Roman continues to win, he gains more and more influence in WWE and more power. And following this match, he might just take even less time off on his schedule, which, for the record, folks, that's a total shoot. Roman has not that many dates after Mania for the rest of the year. Genuinely. Less dates post-Mania than he did.
That's what happens when you're the biggest draw in the promotion, brother.
His dates decrease on a year-by-year basis in this contract that he's currently in, which is why you saw him less in 2023 than you did in 2022. And you're going to see him less in 2024 than you saw him in 2023. And so Rollins pointed this out and said, listen, you need to get it done this time. He's going to grow with power and influence. And he basically told him, last year you faced these guys and you had them. But ultimately, Solo Sikoa, Samoa, and Spike, you lost. And now this year, it's not just Solo and Jimmy and Heyman and Roman that you're dealing with. You're also dealing with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which is true. And Cody you could see the gravity of the situation begin to set in Cody's face, because this is a big undertaking that he's dealing with. He's not fighting Roman Reigns. He's fighting this entire Samoan dynasty. He has so many people to deal with. And this is not a battle that he can go into alone. We know this because last year he tried to and he failed miserably, and they're only stronger this time. So Seth basically explains this to him, and he was just like, look, man, you have to get it done. And he's breaking this down to him. He said that basically what exists on the other side is very dark. He kind of went on to say this. What is your plan when you fight these guys? And the cool part of this was that Seth acknowledged some lore. He said, look, I'm very much to blame for the monster Roman Reigns has become. And I didn't expect him to become a monster like this, but I walked him out there that, 11, 12 years ago when they debuted as the Shield. And he essentially basically framed this as a situation where I am partially responsible for the creation of Roman Reigns. I did not know he was going to turn into this, but now that he is this, how do you plan to deal with it? How do you plan to fight back and combat the situation here? How do you plan to take that championship back to the boys and essentially save WWE? And what he explained to him was this. There's only one person in this planet uniquely suited to be your Shield. And he said that person, Cody Rhodes, is an architect. He's a visionary. He's a revolutionary. He's Seth freaking Rollins. And he dropped the mic and he walked out. And I gotta say, this promo, this segment, this story beat, this chapter was outstanding. It was absolutely outstanding.
Sorry, yo.
Because here's the thing. Like I said earlier, this feels like the dramatic pre-climax, almost battle cry, rallying cry situation where the heroes come together. Because here's the thing, Cody Rhodes is taking on the evil empire here. He is taking on this seemingly insurmountable, unstoppable force of nature. And quite frankly, now all the characters on WWE TV are pointing this thing out. The bloodline matches end the fucking same all the time. And you know what used to piss me off, Rob? Roman matches would end in interference, right? And commentary would put Roman over and be like, oh my God, what a great champion Roman Reigns is. He's held it for this many days. And I'd be like, why is the company baby facing this guy? He's fucking holding the title hostage. And not only is he doing that, he's winning via interference. Why are you as a company proud of this? You should be acting like Roman Reigns is a plague and that you're fucking almost like under a reign of terror. And now the talents on screen are finally acknowledging this, that Roman Reigns is holding this fucking belt hostage. WWE needs active saving. And that's the correct framing for this, because that's what's happening. You know, we're in this endless fucking loop of fucking repetitive Roman Reigns matches that end the same. And the final hope, the Luke Skywalker, the guy that can maybe destroy the Death Star and take on Darth Vader, is Cody Rhodes. And he's going to need help. He's going to need backup. He's going to need friends. And so I thought from that standpoint, the framing here was fantastic. I'm very impressed with how this pivot has now come together in this way, because Mania now does feel like this big time blockbuster convergence of storylines and angles. And I'm really into this main event storyline here. It looks like we're going to get a tag match. And the other reason why I thought this was great, Rob, was that Seth Rollins looked like a really pathetic and passive character in the build to the press conference. He had been berated by Roman Reigns. He had been berated by The Rock. He was a guy that was begging Cody to fight him. That framing and that portrayal was really damaging for Seth Rollins. But you know what's helped him here? What's allowed him to reclaim his legitimacy and his authority was the fact that it is very much true and part of the fabric of the fiction that he does know Roman in a way that nobody else does. He does understand Roman. He did create Roman in kayfabe because he's the architect. And not only that, he is uniquely suited to be the Shield, Rob, because guess what? He has never lost to Roman Reigns in a major big match. He has defeated Roman repeatedly. Roman Reigns has not beaten him in a big match. And so that's where he reclaims his authority and his legitimacy, because he is the proper backup to give Cody what he needs to help him win this match. And so it's a really, really cool setup. It's a great situation. He's Han Solo. He's fucking Apollo Creed in Rocky 3 when he's helping Stallion take on fucking Clubber Lang, you know? And so I thought, like I said, I thought this segment was outstanding, and I love this setup.
Well, you know, I really enjoyed watching everything that Cody had to say. Seth made some great points. Seth made some great points. He's like, yeah, you are facing Roman Reigns and the whole entire bloodline, but you're also facing the biggest star in Hollywood right now, the biggest star in the world, in The Rock. And so basically that's why you need my help. But like I may like be the odd man out with this opinion, but like it's gonna take a lot more for me to care about Seth again, bro. Like I can't, like, because Thursday was just so bad for him in the sense that it was just like it completely took me off of him, because it was just like he didn't even try to put attention on himself. He just sat there and just let everybody disrespect him and let everybody just say, yeah, he's a bum. He literally stood on stage face to face with Roman, right? And Roman looked to the side on him, turned his back basically on him, and say, "Yo, get this bum off my stage," and he didn't do anything about it. And it's just like I love the fact. I love the fact that Seth Rollins can say all of these things, but I would much more appreciate it when he gets the opportunity to say these things to Roman Reigns' face. If he would, the only thing he said on Thursday night was, "Oh, the champion actually." Exactly. Jewish Christian just said he can't keep the same energy in a person. The only thing he kept same energy wise that he kept on at the press conference was, "Oh, Roman showed up to work today," but like he didn't say all the stuff that he said the Monday night before to him to his face. He was just like he basically didn't say a word, and so it's just like I can't take you and what you're saying seriously. If I, you know why I take Cody Rhodes seriously? Because everything Cody Rhodes said in his promo tonight, everything he said in his promo leading up to this point, he has said to Roman Reigns' face. He has said it in the face of Roman Reigns. Everything anybody has said about Roman Reigns, they've said it to their face. But Seth Rollins, it's like Seth Rollins says all these things in a Monday Night Raw promo, and then when he steps to Roman Reigns and they're face to face with each other, he pisses down his leg. And so that's what takes me out of it. I don't believe you. I don't believe any of the things you're saying because you're saying it to one person, but you're not saying it to the person that matters. And like I don't disagree with everything that he's saying. I don't disagree with it. I like the fact that they're building up Roman to be this like god status where he's unstoppable and he can't be taken down. But it's just like I can't take it seriously when you're not saying it to the person that you need to say it to, and you're saying it to everybody else but the person that needs to hear it.
Very, very unique and interesting perspective there, Rob. I totally get where you're coming from. And I think that's something that the writing team needs to work on next. They did a good job with Seth in this segment, but the work doesn't end there. I think they need to continue to have him basically reclaim his authority, like I said earlier.
Yes.
And he is going to have to, at some point, chin up to the bloodline and talk shit to them.
He's gonna have to at some point tell Roman Reigns to his face, bro, you're ruining this company. Instead
Yeah,
of going to somebody else and being like, yo, Roman's ruining the company, bro. I don't know what you
yeah, no,
like Erica
I
just said
totally
they
get.
make him look like an idiot.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. So that's the next step they got to take. I think is basically the Seth rehab doesn't start and end here. It needs to continue essentially. So hopefully that is the next step. And again, what do you think is coming out of this, Rob? I think what we're doing is a tag match. I think they're doing a tag team match on night one, and Cody and Seth had their singles championship matches on the next night. And I think Rock, he keeps talking about him being a long gamer. I think he's really into this right now. I think he's into this broader story that he's going to tell, and I think he's going to be on some of these next couple big shows. I think I almost expect him at SummerSlam, and he will certainly be at next year's WrestleMania. And because that is the situation, it allows you to kind of play around and not have to burn everything you want to do with Rock at Mania. So he can just be in a tag match to set this thing up. What I said with Joe last night, Rob, was I could see a situation um, where Roman is the Nappa to Rock's Vegeta, in that when Nappa lost to Goku, Vegeta grabbed his hand, threw him up in the sky, and killed him. And the analogy here is I think you could do something where Rock considers Roman a failure for failing to beat Cody, and that's when he rock bottoms him the next night on Raw or SmackDown, and that can set up the next build with Roman versus Rock, and Roman's the babyface. I could see something like that. I don't know. What do you think? Where do you think this is going?
I I would hate that. Yeah, I would hate that. But I just don't know. I just don't see it because it's like I said, it's Triple H booking. It's Triple H's booking process. It's just like he never likes to finish things. And so it's just like I want to believe that Cody might win this match, but I just don't know. Especially with The Rock involved now, I just don't know.
I feel like he has no
Who
choice.
takes the pin in this tag match?
It doesn't really matter.
It does because you can't have Seth Rollins get pinned and then go defend his title the next night. You can't have Roman Reigns get pinned and then defend
You,
his title the next night. You
you have Cody.
certainly can't have Cody get pinned.
No, yeah, you could have Cody get pinned. You
How?
could have Cody. You could have the Bloodline pin Cody. And it's one of those things like, wow, he couldn't take, like, maybe these guys really are unstoppable. Maybe Cody really just can't do it. Only for him to do it the next night at Mania. You can
Well,
easily,
how does
you can do
how
that.
does that makes Seth Rollins look bad because that makes it looks like Seth Rollins was holding Cody back.
It depends on how you execute the finish. You know, Seth could be out of the pick. You can easily do some fucking bullshit where like Solo and Seth is dealing with Solo on the outside or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, bro, they got two other Samoans. You could do some gimmicky bullshit like that. And again, the God line stands tall to end that matchup,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, these guys just they can't be beat. And then the next night, Roman loses to Cody, and that also helps because then Rock could say to Roman, "When I'm not by your side, you can't get it done. What do you have to say for yourself, young man?" You know, you could do something like that. You could play around with it because it's like, oh, we took these niggas out when we were tagging, and now that you're solo and I trust you, you can't fucking beat Cody Rhodes. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You're a disgrace to the family. So yeah, you can play around with that thing. So yeah, great
Yo,
segment. What's up?
yo, play around with that thing is crazy. Yeah, that was
Um,
crazy.
yeah.
Um,
So
we,
we what's up?
oh no, what were you saying?
I was gonna say we followed this up with a video package. They did a video package for Liv Morgan and Zoe Stark. Um, Oh, we actually no. Before this, we cut backstage to the New Day and Jey Uso, and the presentation of this was different than the normal WWE backstage interview, where a guy walks awkwardly in the frame and then walks off, and then the interviewer has to stare off in the distance. This is more of a sports style setup where we're shooting it to the back, we're pitching it to Jackie Redmond. She's already there with the wrestlers who are kind of partying, celebrating their victory, like it's a fucking sports game. They're already happy and celebrating, and she's like, it's like, hey, we're back. I'm backstage here with the New Day and Jey Uso. And she basically informs them. She informs them that Jay is getting the title match next week. And so Jay got excited. He cut his promo, and then they're kind of just talking their talk. And then Jay just pitches it. Jackie pitches it back to the commentary team. So the real notable thing about this, like I said, is the presentation of the interview, where they no longer have to watch the wrestler walk off in the distance and stare off for about 7-8 seconds awkwardly. So it's a nice and welcome change. But yeah, Jey Uso's getting the shot next week against Gunther. We had Zoe Stark and Liv Morgan video packages. Liv Morgan is in her revenge era, Rob. She wants revenge against Rhea Ripley, who broke her arm. And she wants to qualify for the chamber, and so does Zoe Stark. And so they had their qualifying match, went back and forth, and Liv Morgan won. I don't have much to say about this, to be honest with you, but it's cool to see Liv Morgan back in the mix. And it looks like she's going to be in the chamber, and she joins Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. What did you think of this, Rob?
I really liked this promo from Liv Morgan. I really think Liv Morgan is coming back, and I think she's ready, really, to get to that next stage that she was at in 2020. I think it was late 2022, right? Late 2022 when she was champion.
Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I really Zoe Stark. The problem with Zoe Stark, as I've said on many of our reviews at this point, the problem with Zoe Stark is not that Zoe Stark is a bad wrestler. It's just that I don't know what's going on with her promos, but like the way she cuts promos just sounds like she doesn't believe what she's saying.
she's just not very good at speaking. Well, and
Yeah, so
that's why this was a video package, because they know that she can't really connect well in the backstage interview, let alone an in-ring promo. Those she can't do at all. But they made this a backstage vignette to hopefully help her out there. But yeah, you're right. Look, she's limited in that respect, and that's why she's been held back. They want to push her harder than they push her right now, but they kind of can't because she's struggling to connect beyond the wrestling, and so she's gonna just be a talent in the middle like this, and that's why she was used to kind of put over Liv Morgan.
yeah, so that's my only issue with it. I really just don't get the like why it's taking her so long till I get it because she's been there a minute now. She's been there since 2020, but I don't know. So
Promos just aren't for everybody, Rob. Some people might just never. I don't think she'll ever be a
not
natural
even like
speaker.
the promo. It's not like the connection part. You know what I mean? The connection with the fans part is
Mm,
where I'm just I don't know.
yeah, for sure. she's a good athlete. She's a solid wrestler. She
Yeah.
works hard. She doesn't go out there and stink it up if she's in there with a good wrestler. But I do think she's lacking a couple things that are necessary to be a next level star on the main roster. So, like
If
I
she
said,
could just get that promo and the connection down, I think she'd be like, they'd consider her to be like world champion in the next 3 years.
like I said, they had like what's the word I want to use? They had high hope. They have high hopes for her. That's why she got that match at Survivor Series. It was considered a big test where she faced Rhea Ripley, but she's just kind of proving through in all these moments that she's just not at that level right now. So we'll see what happens with Zoe Stark and her continued evolution. The next thing, Rob, was a backstage segment with the Judgment Day. Priest told R-Truth that the fun is over. Truth tries to call The Miz. He comes out. He ends up having a match with JD McDonough. JD McDonough's getting JD Sucks chance. Truth is doing a lot of Truth comedy. He does the John Cena 5 Moves of Doom. But what's it called? But JD McDonough gets him with the Ripcord Saito suplex, which he calls the devil inside. And so he gets the victory. And the Judgment Day are beating the shit out of R-Truth. And that's when DIY come in to make the save. So DIY run off the Judgment Day. They help R-Truth up. And it's announced later, Rob, that they're going to do an 8-man tag next week. It's going to be Miz, DIY, R-Truth versus all 4 male members of the Judgment Day. So I don't have much to say about any of this. My stance on this awesome Truth Judgment Day stuff is pretty clear. I'd love if they just not. I'll tell you what. I won't be if they confirm to me that Awesome Truth Judgment Day is not the Mania match, then I'm all whatever about this. What bothers me is that right now I'm living in fear, Rob, because I'm worried that that's the tag title match. And if that's the tag title match, Rob, we have a fucking problem. So that's kind of my stance on this. I'm glad DIY continues to get TV time because some of the other better wrestlers on this show struggle for it. Like Ricochet and Gable's featuring is very inconsistent. So DIY being weekly fixtures of the TV is a good thing. So I'm happy for that. And yeah, beyond that, not much else to add about this. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I'm hoping soon that this Judgment Day DIY, like this Judgment Day fucking R-Truth and Miz shit is over soon. I just don't like how long this has been. Um, I hopefully at this point, R-Truth finally understands that the Judgment Day wants nothing to do with him after ripping his shirt off and beating the shit out of him in the middle of the ring, basically with it. I'm hoping that he finally understands that they want nothing to do with him. Um, I'm very, very, very also scared that this might end up being Awesome Truth versus Judgment Day at WrestleMania because I want DIY to be the tag team champions at WrestleMania, but it will be hilarious if they get the match because then we might see Ibu we really might see Ibu tweak out if they get this match.
Well, yeah, my thing on it is just there's too many good tag teams to make that your WrestleMania tag title match. I think the tag division is the best thing about the main roster TV from a wrestling standpoint.
Yeah, and
So
so like you should do everything in your power to present it as such and not present it as the comedy division.
just I'm telling you, bro, that's some like Vince McMahon TV type shit. Because, dude, the tag title match was the main event of night 1 last year. The Usos held those belts like longer than any team ever, and they did a good job of making the tag belts a main event title in 2023. And Judgment Day did a good job with that at the end of the year. So to devalue it this year, and again, have that match be for some gimmick comedy bullshit, it just wouldn't sit right with me. So I hope that's not what they do. And that's just kind of what it is. Following this segment, Rob, they had a backstage thing with Cody and Sami. Sami Zayn's getting ready for his match. He's facing Nakamura tonight. It's a rematch of their acclaimed NXT Takeover Dallas match in 2016. And Cody Rhodes basically comes up and he just kind of tells him like, "Hey man, like, we believe in you, fans believe in you, I believe in you, all love." They dap each other up. Sami pulls him in for a hug. So nice little wholesome moment there backstage. Yeah, nice little wholesome moment backstage. The two guys who were the big stars of Mania season last year, kind of getting into it. We had a Becky Lynch live promo segment, Rob, and essentially she was talking about how much she loves this business. And she's saying, "I love this business so much that I've missed birthdays, I've missed this and I missed that." She said she's so locked in on wrestling that she even missed She said she even missed the funeral of her father, and so it was a tough moment there. She explained that like it's a tough business, but at the end of the day, this business brought me, um, to new heights. This is a business that brought me my husband, who I met through wrestling. It's what brought me my daughter. And she was saying that the hard part about it is that she has to explain to her daughter a lot of tough things. She has to explain to her daughter, why sometimes mommy is bloodied up and bruised, why mommy sometimes just can't lift her up because she has a separated shoulder. She also had to explain to her, to her daughter, why daddy wants to fight Maui, who, if I'm not mistaken, that's The Rock's character in Moana. So uh,
Yes.
she was kind of getting into that and just explaining like how just what the business does to her. So it's a very real life, grounded, realistic promo, which those are always the best promos. She's just being a human being, talking about her real life situation with pro wrestling. Love that type of stuff. But she basically said, "Look, I'm going to win the chamber, and Rhea Ripley's probably retaining the title at that pay per view. So look, I'm going to take on Rhea Ripley." And she's saying, "I know you guys like mommy. I know you guys love mommy, and you guys think nobody can beat mommy. Like it seems like nobody can stop her." But she's saying that like she said like I'm not any other person basically. Like I will be the X factor. I'll be the aberration in the system. I'll be the person that's going to stop Rhea Ripley. And so she pulls up a glass of lemonade and she says, "If you guys have a phone or a drink or whatever in your hand, raise it up because we're going to toast right now. And this will be a toast to Rhea Ripley's championship run." She gets interrupted by Nia Jax, who basically is like being fake sincere to her about like all the stuff she said about her family and her daughter and all that type of stuff. But she's just basically being an insincere bitch. And ultimately, she swerves her and just goes like, "I'm gonna be the one to win the title," and that whole deal. So she's talking her shit. Again, Rhea Ripley makes her entrance at this point. She is pissed off because Nia Jax got the better of her in a physical exchange recently, and that didn't sit well with Rhea Ripley. So
Yeah,
she
like
ran out.
she did she beat her up last week and then no 2 weeks ago and then last week she beat her up again.
Yes, and so she's
Yeah.
give as fuck about that. And so she ran out to scrap with Nia Jax, and they're fighting. Nia throws Rhea into Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch drop kicks Nia Jax. Rhea Ripley has a quick stare down with Becky Lynch, and then repositions her focus back to Nia. She pushes her off the apron, and yeah, Rhea Ripley has been subtly positioned as, if nothing else, a tweener at this point. She's been separate from the male members of the Judgment Day, and it's interesting because she has been kind of like fighting with Priest over like who has authority of the stable. But yeah, mommy is very over, and they're not running from it, and they're embracing it, and yeah, it's like I
Like
said this
they had Becky acknowledge that the crowd like loves her and like she's so fucking
right.
popular, which is like why I don't think she's gonna lose this belt for another like 6 months.
We shall
Because
see. What I will say is that the Becky Rhea dynamic right now feels like, and I said this before, it does feel like Tanahashi and Okada. And Okada was a heel when the Rainmaker shock happened, but by the time he got to the mid 2010s, yes, he was cocky, yes, he was heel leaning, but ultimately people just respected him because he was the best. And Rhea Ripley in kayfabe and canon is just the best. And so it's a similar presentation in that aspect. And the veteran, the incumbent, former ace of the division, Tanahashi, and in this case Becky Lynch, they acknowledge that they're facing some tough odds here against the new young stallion. But again, they know that they're uniquely positioned to be someone that can maybe overcome this. So
but I
uh,
also what we also need in the new year coming out of this match, I we need to have some the stars, like the actual real stars. Not to say that none of the women on the Raw roster like aren't real stars or whatever or don't deserve to be there. But we need to have some like stars that can wrestle and that can actually have a good match with Rhea Ripley start coming over, which is why I wanted her to hold the belt for so long because people kind of have this misconception about her reign that her reign has been bad and she can't really. Well, it's like if you look at the people she's been working with, it's not really like that easy. Like they gave her a cold Raquel Gonzalez that wasn't pushed by Vince for like a year. They gave her who else? They gave her that Natalia match was really good. They gave her a cold Zoe Stark, and they keep giving her all these cold wrestlers to wrestle. And then when she has these matches, the matches aren't badly worked. They're well worked matches. It's just that nobody cares because nobody cares about the opponents that she's facing because they aren't stars. And so, like, I would love to see a Rhea Ripley versus Mia Yim, and on the main roster. I would love to see a Rhea Ripley versus Bianca on the main roster. I would love to see a Rhea Ripley gets all these girls because her reign really needs like that pop and that rejuvenation because she's been facing basically nameless people that haven't really gotten a chance to get over.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you on that. So, look, she could lose it to Becky, but she absolutely could also just keep this thing going. You could also do a thing where she loses to Becky and you do a multi-match series where she wins it back and then does what you were asking for, where this follow-up reign is where she essentially has the classic matches on the big shows. So we'll see how they do it. We'll see how they navigate this. But following the women's angle, we had a backstage interview with Jackie Redmond, and she was with Drew McIntyre. And she essentially informed him that they're going to do Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre on next week's Raw. Rob,
That's
Cody and Drew.
fucking graphic.
This match has been like 5 months in the making. Cody Rhodes was blamed by Drew for bringing Jey Uso to Raw, and that's what got Drew spiraling into this point with his character. And so Drew Cody was always like something that was possible to happen down the line, and we're getting it here. This is a big time fucking matchup with two main event stars. I don't even know how you end this match. I don't know what finish you book for this. I don't. I feel like we're just not gonna get one. But Drew's talking his shit, and he's basically telling Cody like, "You don't want these problems with me, bro. You're gonna end up like CM Punk." So he's talking this shit, and he told him not to go through with next week's match. We catch up with R-Truth backstage. He's with DIY, and he thanks them for saving him, and he called them DX. He believes that Johnny Gargano is Shawn Michaels, and he thinks that Tommaso Ciampa is Triple H.
Yes, he does. I mean, he does look like it a little bit, but like, come on, bro.
It's a little amusing, I can't lie. So there you go. There. We then move on to LA Knight versus Ivar, which was a qualifying match, and this was actually pretty solid. Like people were kind of making fun of this graphic throughout the day yesterday, but Ivar was just doing his flippy moves all over the place and crashing into Knight, and Knight's over, and they're doing the punches, and then Knight does his jump up superplex spot, and he did his pop up power slam LA Knight elbow thing. And then he won with a BFT after a missed moonsault from Ivar. And I tweeted that this was a WCW Pro main event, and people thought
I was just going to ask you about that.
People thought I was dissing the match when I said that. Let me explain something to everybody. So WCW Pro, Rob, was basically a WCWC show.
Yes.
And it's like ROH on Honor Club, I guess, for WCW. And when I said it was a WCW Pro main event, as you would know, Rob, sometimes on those ROH on Honor Club shows, there's like a 3.25, 3.5 star gem. You know what I mean?
A couple weeks ago, there was like a 3.5 between CD and fucking Kyle Fletcher.
Right, and it's one of those matches that is like kind of like inconsequential to the grander scheme of things, and like it's not super long. Like it's like anywhere from like 6 to 11 minutes. But yeah, on WCW Pro, Rob, on any given week, right? You'll maybe get like Eddie Guerrero versus Scott Norton, and it's like just kind of beast, and it's like 3.25, 3.5. You'll get like Rey Mysterio versus Hector Garza, and you're like, yo, that was kind of fucking sick.
This is your fucking Ali and Ricochet like in their prime, like on fucking main event or something,
Right. And the cool thing about WCW Pro is you'd get these weird matchups, just like really weird matchups. Like it'll be like, what if fucking Hiroyoshi Tenzan took on Chris Jericho? And that's not even weird enough. But like, what if fucking Goldberg popped up on WC? Well, not Goldberg wouldn't. I mean, early Goldberg popped up on WCW Pro to take on fucking Yuji Nagata. I'm pretty sure the match did happen actually. It might have been Saturday night, but still. So in that respect, I thought I compared this match to that because Knight and Ivar do not have similar styles in any way. They're very different. But they're cool wrestlers. And again, like I said, they were just throwing that ball around and doing their thing. And so people thought I was dissing the match. Au contraire, I was putting it over as this kind of quirky, cool little thing. So I like this. And Knight goes on to be in the Elimination Chamber. So this lineup is getting real hot and heavy with push talent. So Yeah. What did you think of the match?
I love the match. I love the dynamic of the match. I was kind of iffy on the match, seeing the graphic at first, like kind of like everybody else was, because I
Mm.
was like, these two don't have similar styles at all. But that's what makes what's the saying? Similar.
Style make
Uh,
fights.
yes, yes, they make epic fights, and so like when you have a guy like LA Knight, who's basically he's like the '80s NWA worker in the
Hmm.
sense that he doesn't do all the flashy flips and he doesn't do all these, but what he does, and the charisma that he has and the punches that he does and the little simple moves, like he gets chance and he gets fucking pops off a simple spinning neck breaker. Like those are the kinds of things that like are simple about those kinds of wrestlers that really like gets over for me. I really liked Ivar's offense. I like how Ivar's offense is basically the big man. Like I forgot who said it, but it was like I am big and I am fat and I know I am fat. So I am my offense is going to be I am going to
Smush.
debilitate you.
Yeah.
What?
I'm going to smush into you, basically.
Yes, I'm gonna debilitate you and basically deconstruct you by just throwing all my weight on you. And so I really liked how they did that. And it was a very, very WCW pro main event matchup in the sense that, we're just throwing guys out there, letting them wrestle, and whoever's the better man goes on to better things. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
good
really
stuff.
like that.
Good stuff. I enjoyed the match, and yeah. We
Austin
followed this.
Austin Kinkle said the Raw Fat Man division has been great.
Yeah, I love the super heavyweights. It's a nice little highlight. You got Otis. Otis right now, for the record, folks, he's kind of not been super involved because he's dealing with the loss of his mother, and so that's why he hasn't been around as much. But you have Otis, you have Bronson Reed, you have Ivar, Bobby Lashley. He's not on Raw, but like he fit right into the super heavies right now. Yeah, man, it's fucking sick. It's very early '90s
Look at
Gaijin.
this. Look at this. It's a jizzle. Steiners versus the Freebirds on WCW Pro.
There's a lot of six Steiner Brothers matches on WCW Pro. So, to be honest with you, I'll tell you guys a little secret. The Steiners are actually better on Pro than they are sometimes on the regular TV show. And let me give you a secret as to why. On Pro, they have to fit their match into 6 minutes. And you condense it purely to just them throwing Germans and backdrop suplexes. And so it's basically a Steiner's match with no rest holds, which is the best. So Steiner TV matches are often better than Steiner pay per view matches for that respect, because you get the Steiner experience in 6-7 minutes rather than in 16 minutes. Um, Backstage, Rob, we had Sami and Drew bumping into each other, and Drew basically was just like, "Yo, keep my name out of your mouth. Stop worrying about that championship. That shit's mine." And Sami Zayn is like, "You're in my way." And he meant that literally and figuratively, Rob, because he's in his way literally. But Drew's also like the real obstacle. He's really the thorn in Sammy's side. He is his op. You know what I mean? He is the real demon that Sammy has been unable to exercise
He's
in his
his
past.
showman villain.
Yeah, he's been unable to exercise the demon that is Drew McIntyre, and that's what's in his path to essentially becoming a champion again. And so that's the thing that Sammy has to overcome and deal with. And it's been made. They've made a big deal about this, Rob. Sami Zayn has never beaten Drew McIntyre in a singles match. They've wrestled now 3 times in this latest run of shows, and all 3 matches were very good. Sammy came away with the win in none of them. So there you go. He heads out there to have his match against Shinsuke Nakamura. And I'll say this about the match, Rob. I'll say this about the match. Actually, before we do that, I'm sorry. We had a backstage bit with Adam Pearce talking to some of the women, because they're going to do a last chance battle royal on Raw next week. And the winner of this last chance battle royal will be in the Elimination Chamber. And my bold prediction, Rob, is that Jade Cargill will be a special entrant in this battle royal, and she will win and enter the Elimination Chamber.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't see any of the women that they're advertising in this match. I mean, obviously on Friday, if you think Shotzi has a chance of beating Tiffany Stratton, then you need to watch another program. So that's we know that result of that match. So we know Shotzi's going to be there. And who is Naomi facing next week?
Naomi's facing Zelina Vega.
Yeah. So I don't see, and Naomi's definitely not winning that match. I mean, not losing that match. Sorry. So it's very, very, very obvious to see. You got Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Shotzi, and Zelina Vega, possibly, right? You don't really see any of these women winning this match. And so I would love to see, and I think they already spoiled with a graphic that Jade Cargill was going to be in there. If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Jade Cargill, and it would be nice to see Jade Cargill in an environment like the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The leaked lineup for the chamber looks pretty fucking stacked. Um, I don't want to make projections because you never know, but there's a chance the women's chamber is better than the men's one, Rob.
Oh, absolutely. There's a really good chance because it's very star-studded and it's
Mhm.
very talent-filled. It's like all the other chambers that we've watched in the past where like they had, some of the lesser talented women, no disrespect, but like they had some of the lesser good wrestlers in there. And so it pretty much told you who was gonna win. Like fucking come on. Like you knew Sonya Deville wasn't gonna win a fucking elimination chamber. And so it's like now it really brings that unpredictability factor of Tiffany Stratton just came up, right? And she's like one of the hottest rising stars in the industry. Naomi just returned, and she's really been on a roll since she returned after the Rumble with the shit she's been doing, whatever the fuck she's been doing. You have possibly you have Becky Lynch, right? Who Becky Lynch with the same shit with she's basically told you her destiny, so on and so forth. You got Liv Morgan, who wants her revenge on Rhea Ripley for what Rhea Ripley did, which was basically the last time we saw her on TV. She got taken out by Rhea Ripley. And you got all these women with a purpose. And so it really makes it unpredictable. And so that's what I really like about an aspect I really like about Triple H's WWE is that things really aren't predictable anymore. It's kind of unpredictable. It takes some shitty booking to get there, but it's kind of unpredictable again.
So that's the situation with the women's chamber. Rob, we went on to the main event with Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn. This match went, I think, 2 segments. And I'll say this about the match. I've made it very clear that I haven't enjoyed Shinsuke Nakamura's recent work. I think he's a very diminished wrestler with not too much to offer WWE in 2024. But Sami Zayn is a genius, and he's a master, and he knows how to get the best out of his opponents. And I think that, listen, as much as I love Cody Rhodes, and you guys know he's one of my favorite wrestlers, um, I thought that Sami adapted better to working with Shinsuke and that his style fit Shinsuke better. And he
Yes.
sold, and he did a more strike oriented match, which is not Cody's bag. And so, between the selling and just the babyface comebacks and the fire and the forearms and strikes and kicking, this was one of the better Nakamura matches in recent memory because it was basically just a strike based match, and
Yes.
Sammy allowed for Nakamura to just kind of kick him hard and things like that. So, um, of course, this is not anywhere near the level of the NXT match, but this was a good main event. This is a very nice main event actually, and Sami Zayn, man, he just continues to get it done, man. He's just an awesome fucking wrestler. And yeah, I got into this. It's a shame we got that gimmicky finish that where Sammy lost. Um, what I think is happening right now, Rob, is Sammy's obviously on this losing streak, and my prediction is that Sammy will break this losing streak by finally beating Drew McIntyre, and the victory on Drew McIntyre will earn his way into the World Heavyweight Title match at Mania. That's
Yeah.
my prediction because they've been making a big deal about Sammy has never beat Drew. He's never beat Drew. He's never beat Drew. And until he overcomes that, he's going to continue to lose matches. And that's why Drew McIntyre affected him here. And so it's one of those things where it's like, until you deal with the elephant in the room, you're not going to be able to advance in the room. And so
Yes.
that's what I think is happening here.
Yes, and I'm with you. I really enjoyed this match and the match that they had. Like, I can agree with you in the sense that Shinsuke Nakamura is not as good as he once was. He's not even as great as he once was. He's really on the bad side, kind of the roster. I don't think he's the worst on the roster like you do, but I don't. He's not really where he's used to be. I can admit that, but I really enjoy Sammy. It's like you said. I think Sammy knows how to like work with somebody and it's like, okay, what's your strengths? Like basically what Batista said Undertaker asked him the first time, what's your strengths? what can you do and what can you not do? What's your weaknesses? And in 2024, Shinsuke's had a lot of injuries, so there's a lot more weaknesses than there used to be strengths. And so what his strengths is, which is basically striking, his striking still looks halfway decent. So they basically had a striking match, and it was really good. It wasn't as good as, like you said, the takeover match, but it was still kind of a slight little three and a quarter ode to their original match that they had to take over. So
Yeah, solid stuff there. Drew McIntyre was beating up on Sami at the end of the match, and Cody Rhodes made the big save. And one of the tropes of the Raws in last fall that I really enjoyed, Rob, were these hot babyface saves to close the show. It's a very old school trope, but it's one that always works, man. When you have hot baby faces, let them save the other good guys to end the show and send the fans home happy. And Cody Rhodes beat up Nakamura, got in there, gave Drew McIntyre the fucking the crossroads, and chased Drew out of there. And yeah, it was a nice little close to a good show. So again, I like this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Let's get into some super chats, folks. We're winding down here. This is your last opportunity to get your super chats in, get your thoughts out there before we get up out of here, Rob. Let's go through some of these.
this was during Seth and Cody. What percent do y'all think they're working, and what percent do y'all think they are shooting?
Well, I mean, the entire thing was pre-planned 100%. When it comes to how much of this is their actual opinion, what I would say is a lot of it. A lot of it
Yeah,
is their actual opinion. So
yeah. Seth has said a lot of the things that he said on TV and interviews. So
yeah,
which he could say to his
that's
face.
kind of wrestling. That's kind of wrestling is when people are saying how they feel, things that they actually feel.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Real problems make money. Laser beam 199. Seth said it to his face in 2022. To be fair, that's not true. Seth didn't say all the things he's saying now, like the lazy champion. You don't come to work, because Roman was still coming to work back then. But all this, you're a lazy worker. You don't come to work. All like basically all the shit he said and Cody in the promo to try to get Cody to face him at WrestleMania. He didn't say it to his face. All that stuff. So no, he did not say it to him. Hush 199. All this doesn't matter when Rock is gonna bury Seth Friday. Oh my god.
That could be dangerous. That could be
Oh,
dangerous.
oh, yo,
That could
don't get
that,
us banned off the air.
that could get spooky.
Ooh, I need that. I can't lie. I
That
need
could
that.
really, really fucking violent.
Um, Kale, $20 MX. I still don't know what MX is. Women's chamber lineup might be their best ever. Oh, absolutely, it definitely is. There's no more Sonya Deville's. There's no more Mandy Roses. There's no more. Who else? Because I'll be thinking. There's no more Sarah Logan's. There's no more. None of those people. It's just stars.
Somehow we avoided an obligatory Natalia spot. You know,
Yes, the obligatory. Every match has to have. She doesn't even lay them out good, so I don't know why. Anyway, Mohammed 1999 SAR, Saudi Arabian. I forgot the third word.
is it rupees?
Um, no, it's not rupees. It's something
Ooh,
else.
something.
Evil. I'm hoping for Liv to get squashed at Elimination Chamber because I'm so sick of her stands putting it in her matches, putting her in matches she has no business being in.
I'll tell you what, Rob. There's a lot of stands for the women in this chamber match, and there's gonna be a lot of arguing about the results in terms of like who gets pinned and eliminated first. Because
You know,
there are Liv stands, there's Bianca stands. Uh, who else am I forgetting? I feel like there's a lot of passion. Naomi's in this match. There's gonna be a lot of upset people, you know. So yeah, that'll be
yeah,
interesting.
but you know the thing is that is what makes it interesting. I think because that's basically I like that promotion tactic. I don't think it's a promotion tactic, but I like that they did that. That you need a bunch of stars in there so that you can have conversations on different social media platforms so you can get it out there. So,
Absolutely.
Hush 199 is Punk appearances done until his return. No, he will probably be at
I
Mania in
don't think
some
so.
capacity. I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't,
he will. I don't think he's gonna
the
miss
go
that.
home the go home Raw is in Chicago.
Yeah,
to me.
so I don't think he's definitely not missing that episode. So I don't think I think he's gonna do what he was doing at the kickoff, which is basically being on the pre-show panel. He might even get his way into commentary. You never know. So
I think he should cut a promo on the Go Home Raw and give Cody a pep talk.
yes, absolutely.
Or considering Sami Zayn saved him from the Drew McIntyre beatdown, he could be giving Sami a pep talk.
That would work too, and I especially since Drew was the one that could attack him, I think he'd be like, yo, don't let that piece of shit win the title." So, Will Chisholm, $5. Outside of Mello, who do y'all think will be called up? Men and women after Mania. Braun is definitely getting called up at this point. He's been on Raw and SmackDown with contracts, so.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? I could see Roxanne going up.
Yes, because she's basically finishing up there.
I could see now that, especially since WWE Speed is a thing, Rob, and Cedric and what's my man's name? So who you're gonna have guys to fight? I could see Axiom and Frazier finally getting called up
I
because
can see.
Speed is because Speed is scheduled to be taped before SmackDown, the same way main event is before Raw.
You know what
So,
I could see happening because Nathan Frazier's kind of like the gold NXT and not the NXT 2.0. I could kind of see what they did with like the NXT Black and Gold guys when Triple H came back. They moved up to the main roster, and I could see and all the 2.0 guys were kind of running it. I could see them moving most of the 2.0 people up and keeping kind of like the third version of NXT, the gold version, down. Most of them down there to basically carry out the year. Like I could see Frazier and actually becoming tag team champions, or I could see them either winning a North American title or an NXT title or something, and basically carrying that load for. I could see Ilya Dragunov moving up after Mania. That could be something that happens. So he's another like he's another like 2.0 kind of end of 2.0 guy. And so all the 2.0 guys kind of move up like they're seniors going on to college or whatever. And then now the younger guys are gonna run it and basically carry out the year until they go up next year. So that could be what happens.
sure.
Karen, 100 rupees.
My
It's
man
happened.
Karan, let's go.
It's happened accidentally, but Seth joining forces with Cody makes sense because he's the only person Roman didn't beat. No contest at the Rumble.
Yep. I pointed this out. Absolutely.
Wait, Roman's really never beat Seth, like ever?
So if you really go through cage match, he beat him on a Raw match in 2017. Every other match, Seth has beaten him, I believe. So
so Jizzle, $2. Sami gotta beat Gunther at Mania. No.
I'd prefer he be in a world title match so that Gunther can work with one of the other guys on the roster. Personally. But
Gable, I don't mean to be like the corny cliche. Gable has to finish his story.
hopefully, man, they're doing it on the house shows again, Rob. I don't know if you saw that, but they've restarted them. They've been wrestling on the house shows again. So hopefully,
exactly. I'm pretty sure that they've been working on their Mania match through these house shows. So
maybe.
yeah. So nobody else should finish that Gunther
those are the type
story.
of guys that do not need to practice their fucking match. They can call that shit.
Well, yeah, but nobody should finish Gunther's story but Chad Gable.
Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Will Chisholm, $10. When it comes to free agents, I know Triple H really wanted Okada and Mercedes. Yes. But how about Camille or Julia? In his eyes, are there more levels to them too?
I mean, they're gonna get Julia. Regarding Camille, I know that they wanted her and that she was gonna be on NXT. I don't know the status of that. I know that I think Sean Rossap said that she's expected to go to AEW. I believe that was a report. Either that or that, like, that's where she's leaning now. So, I mean, if that's the case, good for Camille for getting a contract. But yeah, I know Hunter wanted Camille, and look, we know Hunter, Rob. He loves his muscle girls, So
yeah,
we'll see what happens there.
Next super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Next super chat. Hush $4.99. Is there talents from AEW and WWE very high on and will go into a bidding. Oh, okay, I get it now. Is there talents from AEW that AEW and WWE are very high on, and will they go into a bidding war when they are free agents and vice versa?
Becky Lynch.
Yeah. Um
There will be
Becky is very, yeah.
there will be a bidding war for Becky Lynch.
I wonder who wins that. I wonder who wins that.
Probably WWE. She doesn't want to leave. So here's the deal. She doesn't want to leave WWE. I'm just telling you that Tony Khan will court her.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So that's the deal with that. You got anything else?
Two more. Will Chisholm, $5. Seth sounds like Apollo Creed when he told Rocky, "There is no tomorrow" in Rocky 3.
Yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. He is Apollo in Rocky 3. I said this earlier.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hush, 199. Is Dragon Lee done with NXT? Need him back on the main roster.
I do as well. I think they're gonna give him a match with Josh Briggs. I heard, but
I was about to say, like, I think he's officially done with NXT after after this like little stretch period of NXT. Basically, I think he's main roster bound completely after WrestleMania. So
he was a big asset to those SmackDowns, though. So I really do want to get him back on those Fridays.
yeah, like the little 6 minute, 7 minute showcase matches that he was having with the NXT guys.
Those were sick.
Yeah, so we need him back on the main roster, and that is all the super chats that we have for today.
Awesome. You know, Rob, I'll let you sign us off tonight or today.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning.
No. Oh shit, I forgot the announcement.
Oh yeah, the announcement,
folks. The WrestlePeers Raw review is expanding starting next week. We will be adding a new member. Some of you guys might be familiar with her. Some of you guys might not be. But you will get acclimated starting next week because we're adding this woman named Jana up to the podcasting team on Tuesdays. Her @ is, let's look this up. I believe it's Viva. Yeah, Viva La Jana. So if you want, guys, I told her I was going to do this to mess with her. If you want, guys, you should tweet at her and congratulate her for making it to WrestlePurist and welcome her on aboard. So let's give a warm welcome to Jana. She'll be joining us next week on the Raw reviews going forward. And you guys can look forward to that next Tuesday. So, again, at Viva La Jana, Viva La Jana. Yeah, man, congratulate her for making it onto the WrestlePurist team. The team expands, and we're going to continue to add some new changes this year to the brand. So that's the announcement.
Yep.
And with that, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Raw review and supporting. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Make sure you guys tune into my Twitter tonight. We will be live tweeting the D'Angelo family against Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, Adriana Rizzo versus Jada Parker tonight. So we will be tapped into that tonight. Make sure y'all tune in and yeah.
Absolutely. Like the video, subscribe, guys. We'll catch you guys next week. Thank you.